Hey there fellow Planeswalkers, it's Steve for Collector Mania, and we're continuing on with our Dominaria Commander Deck series. So this time we're going to take a look at Josu Vess, Lich Knight. So this is a 2 colorless, 2 black legendary creature zombie knight that has Menace, also 4/5. That also has a kicker cost of 5 colorless and a black, so really expensive kicker cost, but definitely worth it. When Josu Vess Lich Knight enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, create 8 2/2 black zombie knight creature tokens with Menace. So overall, really powerful. Really good early game to get in some commander damage. Really good late game to, just seal the deal with a bunch of tokens. So with this in mind, I kind of focused on zombies as a tribe once again. I know I've put together a few zombie tribal decks. This is probably one of the, cooler ones in my opinion, because it's just mono black and just feels very old school. It's not trying to trick anybody with what it's trying to do. It's very straightforward. You're just making zombies. You're just trying to kill people. So really fun, actually. Very casual, once again. So keep in mind, if you're looking for something a little bit more competitive, I don't know if this is the commander for you, really, in my opinion. So overall, let's just take a look here and get into it. So first up, we've got a Karin Feeder. So 1 black, 1/1. Karin Feeder essentially is a really good sack outlet. You sacrifice a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Karin Feeder so it can make itself gigantic. Plus it's a free sack outlet, which is always important. Next up, we've got a Crypt Breaker. So another amazing card from the whole Shadows over Innistrad block. It's a 1 black, 1/1 that you can essentially pay 2 mana, discard a card to create a zombie token. Then you can tap 3 and tap zombies you control and draw a card. And lose 1 life, of course. Really powerful. Making tokens and drawing cards overall is amazing. Then we've got a Gravecrawler. Apprentice Necromancer. I love the artwork on this card. I really like that they gave it a facelift in the most recent, or one of the most recent Commander products. Metallic Mimic, a great way to make our zombies a little bit bigger and more threatening. Relentless Dead. Shepherd of Rot. Really fun card, actually. You've just got to keep in mind, as long as you're ahead on your opponents on life, this card works amazingly. Cemetery Reaper, one of our best lords. Coffin Queen, a really interesting card. It's essentially like the black version of Rabinia that steals cards from graveyards. Really powerful, actually. A lot of people don't even realize this is a zombie because of her old artwork. It just says, I think, minion or something like that. And then we've got a Death Baron. Fleshbag Marauder. Geralf's Messenger. Ghoul Razor. Then we've got a Lord of the Accursed, so 2 colorless and a black. Other zombies you control get +1/+1. You can also pay a colorless and a black. All zombies gain Menace until end of turn, which is actually really cool. Lord of the Undead. Phyrexian Ghoul. Unbreathing Horde. Boneyard Scourge. So keeping in mind that we are in mono black, there is it's pretty important to have a few flyers, and we are pretty limited on our choices here. But this is probably one of the better ones. I mean, the ability on the card is actually amazing. 4/3 isn't a bad size for the body, and the artwork is awesome. Corpse Augur, great way to draw cards. Just be careful, you don't want to kill yourself with this card. Graveborn Muse, another card to be really careful of. Really awesome card draw engine, but keep in mind it is going to lose you a ton of life if you have a lot of zombies on the board. Gravedigger. Corlash, Heir to Blackblade. Risen Executioner. Undead Warchief, probably one of our best lords. So keep in mind this does help us with Josu's kicker costs, so that's really important. Yeah, could help us get it out a little bit earlier. Corpse Connoisseur. Corpse Harvester. Custody Lich. Great way to become the Monarch, really. And great way to continue to have the Monarch as long as we keep hitting our opponents and then making them sacrifice creatures. Pretty powerful. Dreadslaver. Grey Merchant of Asphodel, of course, one of our best creatures. Phyrexian Delver. Sidisi Undead Vizier. Geth, Lord of the Vault. This card is absolutely ridiculous. If you haven't played with it yet, this is probably one of my favorite choices for mono black commanders. I mean, it really can get out there and cause a lot of havoc for your opponents. It's also, the Intimidate comes up more often than you think, and you can actually just win a lot of times with commander damage, so interesting, included in the deck as well. Just a great way to, mana sink, really. Grave Spawn for those surprising Garys that fly out of the graveyard for, you know, no apparent reason to your opponents until they read this card. Machias the Unhallowed, one of our best zombies. Scourge of Neltoth, one of our best flying zombies. We're breaking into our artifacts here. We've got a Soul Ring, Mind Stone, Thought Vessel, Commander Sphere, Herald's Horn, so a really good, really just like a tribal artifact that kind of helps us with our finding our zombies and casting our zombies once again. You know, this helps Josu a little bit, and so on and so forth. Worn Power Stone, Hedron Archive, Thran Dynamo, Vanquisher's Banner, the Immortal Sun. Since we aren't running any Planeswalkers, this is a definite include. And then we're getting into our enchantments here. We've got a Necropotence, Phyrexian Arena, a little bit of card draw. Endless Ranks of the Dead, auto-include in zombie decks. Call to the Grave, another auto-include. Liliana's Mastery, Malicious Affliction, we're breaking into our instance here. So pretty good removal as long as we're not going up against other black decks. Hero's Downfall, Sudden Spoiling, Vraska's Contempt, Wretched Confluence, probably one of my favorite cards that's been printed in the last couple of years. Once again, these modal spells are just absolutely ridiculous, and this is one of the best. I mean, all the options on here you're going to want to do at some point in the game. Victimize, we're breaking to our sorceries. Damnation, of course. Dread Return. Ever After. Yawgmoth's Vile Offering, so a brand new card from Dominaria. It's essentially removing something at sorcery speed and also recurring something at sorcery speed, so the fact that it can hit other people's graveyards and it can hit creatures or planeswalkers is just absolutely amazing to me. This is probably my favorite card of the entire cycle. To me, it's going to be the best in Commander, even though the other ones are, well, I shouldn't say best, but it's going to be the most interesting, because the other, you know, Karin's Temporal Mastery, yeah, take an extra turn. I mean, we've seen that a million times before. And then the other one that exiles land or non-legendary permanents is pretty cool too, but this one's just really interesting to me. Necromantic Selection, good board wipe / giant creature maker. Rise of the Dark Realm is one of our best win conditions. We're breaking into our lands here. So we've got a lot of lands that produce a lot of colorless mana and or a lot of black mana, so just to help us get that kicker cost paid for, so Ancient Tomb, Arch of Vraska, Baron Moore, Bajuka Bob, Cabal Coffers, another great card to run with our strategy, Cabal Stronghold, Cavern of Souls, Command Beacon, Crypt of Agadim, Crystal Vein, Ghost Quarter, Myriad Landscape, Phyrexian Tower. I do not actually own a copy of this card. I should. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, what the heck? Why haven't I been playing with this thing for a while? I mean, tap, sacrifice a creature, add 2 black to your mana pool. That's really powerful. Reliquary Tower, Temple of the False God, and then of course our basic swamps. And I believe with that, that is the deck tech. So once again, as always, I hope you guys have enjoyed this, and let us know how we're doing, and we'll catch you in the next deck tech.